Hello everybody, my name is Arun Berde and today we are going to discuss in this session about equality in Indian democracy. This chapter of civics will deal with equality and Indian democracy. In the previous year, we have studied about the democratic government and the different forms of democracies. So let us have a look first the key elements of democratic government that we have already studied last year. So such key elements of democratic government such as people's participation. People's participation in every activity, even if it is a political event, social event, whatever it may be. People's participation is very important. Then the resolution of conflicts, if any conflict arises, maybe it is between governments or between people, that should be resolved. And for that, a particular law or a specific rules and regulations must be there. And equality and justice. These two are the key elements of democracy, equality and justice. Equality means the people living in that democratic nation, living in that democratic country must be equal, or they should be treated equally, irrespective to their social and economic backgrounds, and also have justice. Everyone should be equal before the law. So equality is a key feature of democracy and influences all aspects of functioning. Equality is a key feature of democracy we consider, which influences all aspects of functioning of that democratic country, of that democratic government. So let's have a look on equality in the Indian democracy. Equality is one of the pillars of Indian democracy. When we talk about democracy, it means what? When we talk about democracy, it means we are talking about the people, we are talking about the people's rights, we are talking about the dignity of the people living in that country. And if in the same country, if there is no equality among the people, among the citizens, if they are discriminated, if they are considered differently, if their dignity is not ensured, if their rights are not ensured, then what will be the use of having the democratic government where people is the core element, where people have given more importance, where people are vested with all the powers. In the same country, if the people are not treated equally, if the people are considered unequal, then what is the use to have such government? Then better we have the previous forms of government like monarchy or kingdom, such as our dictatorship, right? But no, we have accepted democracy so that we can provide equality, so we can think people equally. So equality becomes one of the pillars of Indian democracy. In the preamble of our constitution, which is considering, which is explaining or elaborating about all the key features of our constitution, which starts from the words like we the people of India, we the people of India, and many more things are given. We are sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens, this is important, justice, liberty, equality. Now, equality of what? Equality of status and of opportunity must be promoted among them all the citizens or the people of India, so that they would feel fraternity, they would feel brotherhood. And once we start feeling that we are brothers and sisters to each other, we definitely assure the dignity of each individual. So this preamble speaks about equality and many more other key features of Indian democracy. See, the Indian Constitution came into force on January 26, 1950. Now, why we are talking about Constitution? Because Constitution play very important role in this regard. Very important role Constitution played to promote equality among all the people. So we must know about our constitution, at least basic things which we have you might have already discussed last year. So the Indian Constitution came into force on January 26, 1950. 284 members of the Constituent Assembly signed the handwritten documents of on January 24, 1950. 2 days after, on 26 January, India celebrated its first Republic Day. When our constitution come into force on 26 January, every year we celebrate this day as the Republic Day in India. Dr. Ambedkar was the chief architect of our constitution. We also say that the father of Indian constitution. It is because of him that our constitution covers a wide range of civil liberties, including the freedom of religion and the abolition of untouchability. We know that in India, there are many religions, but Indian Constitution is framed in such a way where freedom of religion is given to the people. Freedom of religion, right to freedom of religion means the person living in India can practice and profess any religion of his or her choice. There is no restriction, there is no state religion. So we consider every religion is equal to us and we respect every religion. And another problem the Indians were facing, that was untouchability. This is a kind of discrimination practice going on in India, under which untouchables were treated very badly. They were even not allowed in an area where the upper caste people were living. So lower caste people were ill-treated. So that untouchability also was being abolished due to the framing or due to the provisions, such laws in the constitution. So that's why Dr. Ambedkar says, as the chief architect of our constitution, the Indian Constitution recognizes every person as equal. Indian Constitution never recognize people differently. It recognizes every person as equal. Every individual in the country, including male or female, from all caste, religion, tribes, education, and economic background are recognized as equal. Means irrespective to their caste, creed, race, religion, gender, that is male or female, or their education, whether they are educated, illiterate, or their economic background, whether they are poor or rich, doesn't matter. Everybody we consider, we recognize as equal. In our country, there are laws to protect people from discrimination and ill treatment. Sometimes these problems, what we have discussed just now, like caste, gender, religion, tribes, education, economic background, social background, these all things uh, can become the problems, or because of these things can be created problem and people can be ill-treated or can be discriminated. But our country, there are certain laws to protect people from such kind of discrimination and ill-treatment. See, certain important provisions in the Constitution on equality. Article 15 in Indian Constitution specially speaks about equality. So what Article 15 includes? So first, every person is equal before the law. Means doesn't matter the person comes from which class, which society, which background, whether political background is strong enough or not, whether poor or rich, whether lower caste or upper caste, doesn't matter. Everybody equal, everybody is equal before the law. Before the law means whenever there is a need to provide justice, everyone is treated equally and the justice is given based on the proofs. Second, no person can be discriminated against on the basis of their religion, race, caste, and gender. Nobody can be discriminated against on the basis of their religion, race, caste, and gender. If it is so, then it is a offense in India. Third, every person has access to all public places, including playground, public places like playgrounds, shops, market, hotels, etc. All person can use public wells, roads, and bathing ghats. Means there is no separation at all. There is no discrimination. There is no segregation at all. All these public facilities can be used by all people irrespective of their caste, religion, class, etc. So this is third thing, very important thing. Fourth one is untouchability is abolished. Earlier, as I have already mentioned, that in India there was untouchability practice. Lower caste people were treated badly. So that untouchability is also abolished under Article 15. So which proves this Article 15 ensures to have the practice of equality, to consider every person equal. In order to implement the equality that is guaranteed in Constitution, the government has taken two important steps. Government must ensure, who can ensure the security and dignity of the Constitution, or who will ensure the provisions described in the Constitution in a real life, in a real practice. So we have that institution known as government. So government has taken two important steps to ensure this all, or ensure the equality in Indian democracy. First, formation of laws. Government had passed certain laws, forming laws that protect every person's right to be treated equally. Certain laws are passed in which the rights of the people are treated equally. And second, schemes, certain policies have brought. Government has launched various programs to help disadvantaged communities. These schemes are to ensure greater opportunity for people who have been treated unequally for several centuries. So they were disadvantaged, they were deprived in all the civil rights, in the other opportunities. So these programs and schemes of the government always ensure their interest to be safeguarded, their interest to be protected, and they should also get the equal opportunity to develop and to be in a competent state from where they can make themselves, make their life happy and prosperous. So these two steps are very important. First, laws to protect the interest of the disadvantaged people, and second, schemes and policies to provide them security, to provide to ensure their development and participation. One of the schemes we can discuss here, that midday meal scheme. You know very well that in the schools, very especially in the government elementary schools, midday meal is catered to the children coming to study in school. Even I am the one who has benefited by this midday meal scheme. Midday meal scheme refers to the program introduced in all government elementary schools to provide children with cooked lunch. Lunch is provided to the children, those who are studying in the government schools. Tamil Nadu was the first state to start midday meal in schools. Which state? Tamil Nadu was the first state to start midday meal in schools. And in 2001, the Supreme Court instructed all states to implement midday meal scheme in their schools. In which year? In 2001. Supreme Court instructed all states to implement midday meal scheme in their schools. Now, let's see what is the benefit. What is the benefit of this scheme, midday meal? But let me tell you, midday meal had many positive effects. And they are such as, first, more poor children began enrolling and regularly attending school. Do you know, children, when school started, so the poor people were not sending children to schools, or there was a problem of dropouts. But due to this scheme, what happened now, poor from the poor section also, irrespective to their caste or creed, they started sending their children, started enrolling children in the school. And children, because of this good food they were catered in the school, were regularly attending school. So this is the first important effect. What was our goal? So that education to be catered in the every doorstep. And this midday meal scheme has supported, helped that goal, helped that motive of us. Second, this program helped reduce caste prejudice, because both lower and upper caste children in the school eat this meal together. See, earlier the people were, those were lower caste people, upper caste people were not coming together and having lunch or dinner together. Never, because there were certain caste prejudices in their mind. But this midday meal, when it is started, so the children from lower caste, upper caste were all together studying in one school. So when they were catered, when they were served the cooked lunch, so they were all eating together. So from the beginning, from the childhood itself, the seeds of equality, the considering that all people are equal, that tendency, that thinking has been imbibed. So that was, we could eradicate the untouchability, inequality from the Indian society. So this is also another positive effect we can say of this midday meal scheme. Third one, this program also provided food and nutrition to children of poor families who were not able to provide healthy nutrition to their children. So it is helpful for the poor families, those who are unable to provide nutrition to their children. So many times children were facing malnutrition, problem of malnutrition. But this program helps such poor families who were not able to provide healthy nutrition to their children. And through this program, now these children also started getting a nutrient food and the good quality food. So these all are positive effects of this midday meal schemes. And very importantly, it has started from the beginning of the humans, from the childhood of the people of country, to eradicate inequality and to think people are all equal, to reduce the caste prejudices from the mind. Let us have a look another problems in the other countries, as we so-called developed country, we say as America. In the recent past, there was a problem of discrimination. There was a problem that people were not treating people equally, very especially African Americans, those who were transported during colonial period from Africa in order to carry out the work in the America. So those African Americans, now the American people only, but they were ill-treated because of their color of the skin. They were black in color. So this is called racial discrimination, apartheid. Racial discrimination, also known as apartheid, the discrimination based on the color of the skin. So for this, civil rights movement in America was being introduced in the late 1950s. You might have heard about Martin Luther King the Jr., one who was the active leaders of this civil rights movement in America. So let's have a look what was the problem. You can see here people were showing placards like we demand equal rights now, means they were not treated equally. Here you see one placard is there, restrooms for white for colored. Means what? Restrooms means washrooms or the common rooms were separated for whites for different, and colored people. Colored people means black and other racial people was different. Equal rights for all. I am a man means what? Consider I am also a human like you. So this placard shows the terrible problems going on in America. See, African Americans were treated unequally in the US, that is United States. For example, when traveling by bus, they either has to sit at the back of the bus or get up from their seat whenever a white person wished to sit. So this type of treatment they were given. Now you know that traveling by bus is a public transport and can be used by the public of that country. But there was discrimination, there was segregation. Either blacks had to sit at the back of the bus. And anyway, if white person wants to sit, the black person has to vacate the seat. So that problem. Civil rights movement in America started in late 1950 to push for equal rights for African Americans and to end racial discrimination, which was going on in America. This started on December 1, 1950, when the Rosa Parks, a 42-year-old African-American woman, boarded the bus to go home from work. On that day, Rosa Parks initiated a new era in the American quest for freedom and equality. She was very much tired and now she wanted to take a rest, and she boarded the bus and she had sat down on a seat. When the white person comes and asks her to vacate the seat, she denied. She did not, and she fought for her right. Maybe she was very tired and she wanted certain rest, but that incident started a new era in the in the US. And this civil rights movement started since then, December 1, 1955. The Civil Rights Act came into being in 1964 that prohibited discrimination on the basis of race, religion, or national origin. And with this movement of civil rights movement in US or in America, finally, eventually had got all those rights. The Civil Rights Act came into being in 1964 in America that prohibited discrimination on the basis of race, religion, or national origin. See, from a small incident, this big event, big process, the protest and the movement started for civil rights for the African Americans in the USA. That is come to an end, and the people got the equal rights. Second, in Indian, when we talk about equality, so dignity is very important. Though the person is physically fit or unfit, everyone has his self-esteem. Everyone has his own self-dignity. You might have heard about a story or in a movie, Diwar, Amitabh Bachchan ki movie thi. In that movie, even in our textbook, the pictures are given. The Amitabh Bachchan, when was in his childhood, was polishing the boot, right? So the money was thrown on his, whatever money he has to take from the customer, he has thrown on him. So what he said, कि मैं फेंके हुए पैसे नहीं लेता, क्योंकि मैंने काम किया है, मेरे पैसे इज्जत से मुझे देने चाहिए आपको. Means self-esteem is very important, dignity. So Disabilities Act 1995. This law states that person with disabilities have equal rights and government should make possible their full participation in society. We have seen a key element of democracy, that is people's participation. So don't you think disabled people are also people like us? So their participation also equally important with the those who are not disabled. So therefore, to increase their participation in society, this law is passed. The government has to provide free education and integrate children with disabilities into mainstream schools. Means disabled children also can study in a mainstream school without having any difference among them. The law also states that all public places, including buildings, schools, shopping malls, etc., should be accessible and provided with ramps. You might have visited any government or any government office or school. You see, there is also, along with the steps, flight of stairs, you can see the ramp also, from where disabled people can easily access the building. So this Disabilities Act also, that means to ensure and to secure and to protect the equality and the dignity of the disabled people. Another important aspect of the equality, that is universal adult franchise. Now, what is universal adult franchise? It is also called universal adult suffrage. Suffrage means right to vote, and which is universally accepted. Means universally it is accepted that those who are adult must have right to vote, irrespective to their caste, creed, gender, religion, economic background, educational background, social background. Irrespective to this all, every adult above 18 must get right to vote and should have participation in the democratic elections so that they can choose their representatives. So this universal adult franchise or right to vote is important. See, in the beginning of our lesson, you could see that one of the maid and her master means where she is going for the perform domestic work. Both of them were in a queue while casting their vote in the election, right? So how happy she was while seeing that, even though she is a maid and he is Saab, but still were in the same queue to cast their votes. So that is universal adult franchise. This is very important aspect of democratic societies where all the adults above 18 years must get right to vote, irrespective of their social or economic backgrounds. So this is also one of the key feature of equality in the Indian democracy. That is right to vote, universal adult franchise. With this note, thank you very much. Hope you would have liked this video and much informative and could able to revise your entire lesson. Thank you very much.